similar offense that Nags is running. I'm proud of Nags for the job that he's doing. He's a heck of a football coach, and I mean he's right for that city. They're lucky to have him. That's a tough place, and he's a tough kid. So, anyways, with that, time's yours.
Andy, what do you feel like Terrell Suggs has left, and what kind of role do you see from him, at least early on in his time here?
Yeah, well, we'll kind of play it by ear, just see how he feels as he goes. He's a straight shooter. He's going to tell you how he feels and where he's at. So, and we'll just take it day by day like that. But I would tell you off the tape, he still can play and loves to play. I mean, he loves to play the game. He's one of those kind of guys. And, arguably a future Hall of Famer. So we're glad to have him here. And, I've coached him before in the Pro Bowl or coached against him and everything else, but glad he's on our team right now.
And you had a chance to talk to him about like his excitement level about coming into a spot like this with a really good team late in the year?
Yeah, he's excited about it. He's just right now he's just kind of getting his bearings. He just he had a physical. He does all the things that you have to do before you get ready to play. So he did his physical and then got situated and now meetings and here we are. So.
And just to be clear, he will practice, you said it right, so he'll be a full go of practice.
Yeah.
Coach, what can a guy like that bring a voice into the defense with all his wealth of experience and the defenses he's been on? What do you hope he can add as a voice to the defense? Well,
I mean, you're talking about an experienced guy who's been there and done it. He's won championships. He's a good person. He's been a leader throughout his career. You don't last this long in the league if you're not a quality player and person. So that's what he brings to you.
When you couple of years in with Steve Spagnuolo, how much is he a plug and play option for Sunday? He can hit the ground running.
Yeah, so he does know the stuff that Spags does. They were together at the Ravens, and I would say plug and play, but there are things he also has to go back and review. And he is meticulous note taker and studier. I mean, he's very passionate about making sure he knows everything, not only about his play, but how he goes about his business. So he was digging in this morning and getting everything down and making sure he's got all the ins and outs of the defense now.
And what was Spags' reaction when you first brought out the idea that he'd be available and that you could potentially bring him?
Yeah, so Brett, this was Brett's. Brett stays on top of all that. You guys know that, and he's relentless and fearless that way. So, and he's trying to do what's best for the team, and he checks with everybody. So he made sure he checked with Steve, and Steve goes, "Guy loves football, and he's a great teammate," and that's all Brett needed to hear. So the rest was him, making it happen.
Andy, from your experience in working with Brett, when you make a move like this late in the season, how much does it come to not just the highlights, but the intangibles, setting the edge, the person? How much of that is weighted to the decision before you make sort of a claim on a waiver player?
Yeah, so you got to make sure they still can play. I mean, that's important. And then how do they fit in your locker room? We've got a good locker room, and a strong locker room. I mean, we have some very good leaders on this team. So how do they fit into that? And you don't want to bring somebody in that's going to disrupt things and do all that. That's not where you're at right now. So Brett looks at all that, and we're fortunate to have Spags here that knows him, and Tyron knows him. That was a plus.
You faced members of your coaching tree before, obviously. What makes Matt a little bit unique compared to some of the other guys?
Yeah, well, he's smart, and he's passionate about the offensive side of the ball, especially about football, but the offensive side he's involved with, and he's very creative. So you gotta expect anything. He'll do it. He's not afraid to do things. And, so you got to make sure you study and keep disciplined with your reads and that. And he's a good leader of men. So as a head coach, he's great with people and a leader, good leader.
When you guys are here together, making plays, things like that, what gave you the sense that, okay, he can handle this on his own?
Yeah, I think, well, just being around him. I watched him grow in the profession. So, and the way he went about it, relentless worker, all that stuff that takes to be a head coach, he's got. So he was coach of the year last year. He's been doing pretty good.
Coach, we're a week from Christmas. I know you're 24/7 thinking football, but what's on your plate for Christmas, and kind of what's your favorite memory of that time besides football, maybe?
Yeah, hopefully prime rib's on my plate. I mean, I like prime rib on Christmas. That's a good thing. We don't get a lot of time off, but the time we get, we try to enjoy. I've got grandkids, so I try to get with them. They make every day a good day, right? So you can lose a game and you're still a hero, in their eyes, still Gramps. So I'll do that for a little bit. Greatest memory, probably when I got my first bike, so that was a couple years ago.
And regarding Suggs, did you or Brett or Spags or Daly or anybody have to do any convincing to him to maybe convince him to come here?
I talked to him. He did, he was not familiar with this, so did I tell him about what's going on here, and did he want to hear it? Sure, yeah, he wanted to know what was going on. He's a thorough guy. But did I have to put the hammer down on him or anything? No, I didn't do that. He had some questions, and which guys do that have been around, and I think he liked what he heard, and he was fired up. So it wasn't a recruiting type situation. Just common questions. Yeah, go ahead.
How beneficial is Spencer Ware when it comes to his ability to pass block and maybe something that it can be overseen, I think, from the outside looking in, but he brings to the table?
Yeah, it gives you confidence that he understands everything, and he can bring a pretty good strike with him when he hits you. So, which is important with the linebackers. Normally they've got a running start, and you're just getting maybe a step or two before you have to block them. So you gotta bring a little bit of force with you, and he's able to do that. He's good at reading things, football smart.
Couple more guys.
From Andy, with Patrick, you mentioned that the past couple of weeks he thought he'd been maybe leaving the pocket a little bit too early. Did you see some improvement there from on Sunday?
Yeah, well, I think he mentioned it too, but he worked on stepping up in the pocket and pushing from there. I thought he did a good job with that. There are times where you've got to go. There are just times, that you got to head out. But he went back and he really focused on that, and so I thought he did a good job on Sunday with it. Yeah.
From a psychological standpoint, Andy, it seems like this year presented more obstacles in Patrick than maybe the normal quarterback sees, injuries, conditions. I know he mentioned via NFL films that he felt like he could sling it in any condition. Obviously, you saw it in the snow. How much of that, as you head to January, is a psychological benefit for the rest of the guys to know that no matter the circumstances or the conditions, that you have a quarterback that can play to the best visibility regardless of what is sort of presented at him?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing, yeah. I think the players, they've got a lot of confidence in him in general, and he gives you that, he builds that. That's he's unique that way. We got a couple guys that have that ability to do that, and he's one of them. For a young guy to be able to do that, that's something. He's been that way since he got here. He's not going to, he's going to shoot everybody straight, and to do that, you got to make sure, you've got your side intact and the way you're preparing, and so he goes about it the right way. The guys know that he's coming in and his mind's fully loaded and ready to go with the right things. So,
last two tab
You guys, 6 Pro Bowlers on the starting roster got honored, and a couple guys alternates. What are your thoughts about just as a group? You had older guys, younger guys kind of coming through, and then a couple of these guys like Tyron and Mitchell, who maybe a lot of people thought should have been starters, and
Yeah.
they're alternates.
Yeah, I mean, everybody can't make it. So I'm happy for the guys that did. I'm partial. I mean, I think Tyron's playing as good as any safety in the National Football League right now, and maybe as good as any defensive player in the National Football League right now. So, but he understands. Not everybody, things happen, and but he sure is well deserving. And Mitch has had 2 years where he's, probably maybe more than that, but the last couple of years he's played good football. So, it's one of those things. I mean, every year it happens that way. Somebody doesn't get it, and I want everybody. I want them all to get in, but it's not realistic.
Andy, you talked the other day about Frank Clark, thinking that maybe the worst is over for him regarding his stomach issues. Anything happened in the couple days since, or is he still?
He's been doing good. So, I think he's right. I'll knock on wood, but I think he's in a good place. So, but they're keeping an eye on him. Yeah.
Last one, Lee.
Coach, this will be the 7th time you guys have faced one of the top 10 scoring defenses in the league, and they all present different challenges.
Yeah.
What's the defining characteristic of this defense, and particularly 52? Just how difficult to see it?
Yeah. I thought I praised Nags for letting him get out of the AFC West, and now we're back playing him. But he's a heck of a player. They've got Chuck Pagano there, who I think is a tremendous football coach. So they lost Vic, but then they brought in a guy that's also a good one. So, we've got to go in and prepare and make sure that we've got all the bases covered. They do a lot of things. They've got a lot of blitzes and movement things that they present you. So we got to be sharp there.
All right.